Welcome to this episode of Jam, where we bring you real stories, real people, and real insight on things that has us jammed up in today's world. And today we're talking about something that every single one of us is navigating or struggling with: the ability to adapt. That's right, adaptability. Enjoy the show. Okay, let me start by just saying this. The world we live in today is not the same world we lived in 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and definitely 20 years ago. I mean, just think about it. Technology, culture, the way we work, the way we date, the way we learn, even the way we order food. Everything is moving, and it's moving fast. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, I get it. If you're wondering, am I falling behind? I feel you. But here's the thing. It's not about keeping up with everything. It's about having the ability to adapt, not to blindly follow trends, not to change for the sake of changing, but recognize that growth often requires us to shift, even when it's uncomfortable. Here's the truth. Change is the only constant. That's the reality. Think about it. 20 years ago, let's go back, 2005. The world was a lot different if you don't remember. Most people still had flip phones. Social media was Facebook. It was just open to college students. Streaming, there wasn't any streaming. We were still going and renting DVDs from Blockbuster. Working from home, that was a luxury. That wasn't the norm. Mental health, it was a thing, but it wasn't talked about like it is now. And AI was just in the movies. And now look at us. Smartphones in everyone's hand. TikTok can make somebody famous overnight. Remote work is a lifestyle. Therapy has become normalized. AI tools are helping people write, design, think, code, all of those good things. The pace of change is wild, but here's what I want you to hear. Adapting doesn't mean you abandon who you are. It means you're open to change. You're open to changing your methods without losing your message. Let's be clear. Adaptability isn't about hopping on every new thing. It's about assessing, adjusting, and aligning. It's saying, what's changed in the world around me? What needs to change within me to keep moving forward? And maybe most importantly, what do I need to hold on to because it still works? Everything doesn't need to be updated. There's a power in tradition in doing things that work. There's wisdom in the old ways if it works. But being adaptable means you're aware of when a strategy you use has expired, and you're not afraid to adapt or pivot. Let me give you an example. So let's say you run a business and you've been running it the same way for years, and it's worked. But now your customers are on, social media. They're on, let's say, Instagram. So they prefer to get their messages through Instagram and not necessarily email. Adapting doesn't mean you change the values of how you do business. It just means you change your approach. So instead of sending an email, you'll write them on Instagram or you'll post on Instagram. Let's talk about the hard part. Change is scary. Why? Because we're wired for comfort. We love predictability. Change makes us feel uncertain, and uncertainty makes us feel unsafe. But let's flip that. Growth lives in uncertainty. If you're never uncomfortable, you're probably never evolving. Remember, we did an episode on getting out of your comfort zone. And I don't know about you, but I want to keep growing. Yes, change can bring loss, but it also brings opportunity for growth and resilience. When I've resisted change in my own life, whether it was switching a job or adjusting a relationship or letting go of an outdated belief, I eventually realized the longer you hold on to what's no longer working, the heavier it gets. We stay in these comfort zones because they feel safe, but comfort zones become cages. And adaptability, that is the key that gets you out. So how do we stay adaptable in this fast-moving world and stay sane while doing it? Here's a list of tools that I've leaned on to help me with adapting. Number 1, stay curious. Ask questions, read, listen to voices outside of your bubble. Curiosity keeps you focused. Don't get old in your thinking. Listen, ask questions, engage, from people from different generations, different cultures, different industries. Number 2, Check your mindset. If your first reaction to something new is, that's stupid, ask yourself, is it stupid or is it unfamiliar? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Reframe your thoughts. Reframing your thoughts puts you in the driver's seat for growth. Number 3, build routines. Routines are great, but make sure that you have a little wiggle room. Don't get so rigid in your routine that a small shift messes everything up. Number 4, surround yourself with adaptable people. Your circle does matter. Hang with people who challenge you to think differently. Think about what you're feeding your brain, what media you're consuming. All the things that surround you affect your ability to adapt. Surround yourself with voices that challenge you to think forward. Number 5, keep your core. Honor your core values. Write down 3 to 5 non-negotiables. These are things that you don't compromise, even when you're adapting. It is your root system. Your core values, they are who you are. Those don't have to change. But the way you present, express, or work, that can and often should change. That is a version of you adapting. So let's look forward a little bit. If the past 20 years brought all this change, what about the next 20? What could we see? We could see, obviously we're going to see more AI. AI becoming an everyday assistant, handling tasks, writing emails, scheduling life. Those things are a reality. You're going to see more remote work. Companies with no headquarters, people working across time zones. You're going to see a lifelong, learning. Industries are going to evolve. People are going to keep reinventing themselves every 5 to 10 years. You're going to see a whole bunch of different changes. You may even see new currencies, cryptocurrencies. All those things could look and be different by the year, let's say, 2045. And with that, you might be asking, how do I even prepare for that? The answer is, you don't have to predict everything, but you do have to be open. You have to be ready to adapt, because adaptability is not knowing the future. It's about being ready to meet it. So here's what I want to leave you with today. The future isn't waiting for anyone. Technology will keep evolving. Cultures will keep shifting. Generations will keep challenging the old ones. But instead of fearing change, lean into it. Adapt not because you're weak, but because you're wise. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen. But growth, that's intentional. You're not falling behind. You're finding your rhythm in a world that never stops moving. Keep showing up, keep adjusting, keep learning, keep adapting. If not, you may be jammed. Thanks for listening.